Every truck driver in the country knows about Highway 17, not because of crashes or weather, but because of what waits there after midnight. Among truckers, there is only one rule. If you ever see a lonely truck parked across the road, do not stop, do not flash your headlights, do not answer your radio, and whatever happens, never step out of your truck, because every driver who ignored those warnings simply vanished. Some trucks were found days later, engines still running, headlights cutting through the darkness, cargo untouched, coffee still warm. The driver's door hung open as if someone had just stepped out, but there were no footprints, no signs of a struggle, no bodies, nothing, except one detail. Beside every abandoned truck sat a single pair of boots, perfectly placed side by side, as though their owner had calmly stepped out, removed them, and walked barefoot into the darkness. No one ever saw those drivers again. Police blamed runaways, others blamed kidnappers, but those who lived on the road knew the truth. Highway 17 was taking them one by one. And tonight, you're about to hear the only story of the truck driver who stepped out, faced whatever was waiting on that road, and somehow came back. Highway 17 was almost forgotten by everyone except the people who made a living behind the wheel. It stretched for only 4 kilometers, connecting 2 small mountain towns separated by thick forests and steep cliffs. During the day, it looked ordinary. The pavement was cracked with age, weeds pushed through the shoulders, and faded guardrails lined the edges. Drivers crossed it in a few minutes without giving it a second thought. But when the sun disappeared behind the mountains, everything changed. Veteran truckers would pull into the nearest rest stop and wait until morning, no matter how urgent their deliveries were. Some companies even paid bonuses to anyone willing to take the night route. Almost no one accepted. Those who had been driving for decades would simply shake their heads and say, "No amount of money is worth that road." GPS systems mysteriously rerouted drivers away from Highway 17 after sunset. Local police rarely patrolled it at night, and if they did, they never stayed longer than necessary. Officially, there was no danger. Unofficially, everyone knew. Once darkness settled over Highway 17, the road stopped being a road. It became something that waited, something that watched, and before dawn, it always chose someone. The stories began decades earlier. No one could agree on when Highway 17 became cursed, only that sooner or later, it always claimed another traveler. One of the oldest stories told of a truck driver hauling livestock through the mountains. Just after midnight, he spotted a terrified man standing in the middle of the road, soaked from head to toe and desperately waving for help. The trucker hit the brakes. He grabbed his flashlight, stepped out, and vanished. His truck was found the next morning. The engine was still idling. The headlights still burned through the fog. The cargo was untouched, but the frightened man had never existed. Neither was the trucker ever seen again. Then came the story that silenced the skeptics. A young couple drove Highway 17 after hearing the rumors, determined to prove they were nothing more than ghost stories. First they laughed. Then they passed an old dead tree. A few minutes later, they passed the same tree. Then the same broken guardrail. Then the same faded warning sign. Again and again. Hours passed, but the road never ended. Only the woman returned. She never spoke another word. For the rest of her life, she filled notebook after notebook with drawings of endless highways twisting into darkness. Not one of them had an end. As the years passed, truckers began reporting something even stranger. Their CB radios would suddenly come alive. Not with static, with voices, their wives, their children, old friends, even relatives who had died years before. Each voice sounded frightened. Each begged them to stop the truck, to come outside, to help. Every driver who listened disappeared before sunrise. Then came the sightings that terrified even the most experienced drivers. A lone figure standing in the middle of Highway 17, motionless, head lowered, never waving, never speaking, never moving. Every truck stopped. Every driver who climbed out to confront the stranger. None of them were ever found. Only their boots remained beside the asphalt, perfectly arranged, as though someone had patiently placed them there, waiting, because on Highway 17 the road doesn't take you. It waits for you to step off it. Among the thousands of truck drivers who had heard the stories about Highway 17, there was one who believed every single one of them. His name was Daniel Carter, 42 years old, a veteran long-haul truck driver with nearly 2 decades behind the wheel. He wasn't known for taking risks. He was known for getting home, honest, patient, the kind of man who always stopped to help stranded motorists, the kind of father who never missed his daughter's birthday, no matter how far the delivery took him. But life had become cruel. His 8-year-old daughter, Emily, was lying in a hospital bed, waiting for a surgery that had to happen within 2 days. Without it, she wouldn't survive. The cost was more money than Daniel could ever hope to save, until one delivery changed everything. It paid just enough to cover the operation. There was only one problem. To arrive on time, the fastest route led straight through Highway 17. His dispatcher begged him to take the longer road instead. It would add 9 hours to the journey. 9 hours Daniel didn't have. He looked at the photo of Emily taped to his dashboard, smiled weakly, started the engine. "I'll be home soon," he whispered, as the last rays of sunlight disappeared behind the mountains. Daniel Carter drove toward the one road every truck driver feared. And without knowing it, he crossed the point where no one had ever turned back. The first few seconds felt completely normal. Daniel crossed the entrance to Highway 17, and the truck rolled smoothly over the cracked asphalt. Then he passed the marker. For kilometers. A minute later, he saw it again. For kilometers. He frowned. He kept driving. Another minute passed. The same sign stood ahead of him once more. This time, his smile disappeared. He reached for his GPS. The screen froze. The navigation arrow spun in slow circles before the display went completely black. His dashboard clock stopped. 12:17 a.m. It never changed again. Yet the truck's odometer continued climbing. For kilometers. 12, 28, 44. His fuel gauge slowly dropped, even though the road around him never changed. His headlights no longer reached as far as they should. It was as if the darkness was swallowing the light 1 meter at a time. The faded road signs looked older each time he passed them. Fresh rust spread across the metal. The paint peeled away. Even the white lane markings seemed to shift beneath his tires, gently pulling the truck back toward the center of the highway. He looked up. The stars hadn't moved. The moon hung in the exact same place, as though the night itself had stopped breathing. Then he noticed something in his side mirror. Another truck, far behind him, old, rusted. Its paint had almost completely peeled away. 2 dim yellow headlights followed at a steady distance. No matter how fast Daniel drove, it never got closer. It never fell behind. His heartbeat quickened. He glanced over his shoulder. The highway behind him was empty. When he looked back into the mirror, the truck had returned, closer than before. Its windshield was too dark to see who or what was driving. Then the CB radio exploded with static. Daniel reached to switch it off. Before he could, a frightened voice whispered through the speaker, "Turn around." Static swallowed the words. Another voice answered, "Don't stop." Then another, "You won't leave." The voices kept coming. Men, women, young, old, some crying, some praying, some screaming. Then dozens spoke at once. The cab filled with desperate voices overlapping one another until Daniel could barely hear the engine. "I've been here for 12 years. Don't open the door. It's standing behind your truck. Whatever you hear, don't look." Then, one voice froze the blood in his veins. "Daddy!" Daniel stopped breathing. It was Emily, weak, crying. "Daddy, please stop. I'm scared." His foot drifted toward the brake pedal. Before he could touch it, every other voice screamed at once. "Not her." The radio exploded into violent static. Then the whispers returned. "Don't let it fool you. It learns. It knows who you love." Then one final voice cut through all the others. Calm, broken, unlike the rest. "If you want to see your daughter again, whatever happens, do not step out of your truck." Then Daniel saw it. A truck was parked sideways across the highway. It hadn't been there a second earlier. This trailer blocked the entire road. The paint had long since rusted away. Its windows were shattered. Its tires had sunk into the asphalt as though it had been waiting there for decades. Beside it stood a truck driver, motionless. His uniform hung in filthy, torn strips. Mud and dried blood stained what remained of the fabric. His skin was gray. His face was hidden beneath the brim of an old trucking cap. He slowly lifted one arm, not to wave, not to ask for help. He pointed directly at Daniel. Every story he'd ever heard echoed through his mind. Never stop. Never get out. Daniel slammed his foot on the accelerator. The truck lurched forward. Then the engine died. Silence. The headlights dimmed. The dashboard went black. He turned the key again. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Outside, the forest had fallen unnaturally quiet. No wind. No insects. No birds. Only silence. Then, thump. A heavy boot striking wet pavement. Another. Thump. The figure was walking. Not quickly. Not slowly. With the steady pace of someone who knew there was nowhere left to run. Thump. Closer. Thump. Closer. Thump. Closer. Rain began falling without warning. Every drop passed straight through the trucker. When his boots touched the pavement, they left pools of black water that vanished seconds later. As he tilted his head, Daniel heard a faint cracking sound, like old bones snapping one by one. Then the ghost smiled. His lips moved first. His voice came a heartbeat later, as though the sound had to catch up with whatever stood before him. Daniel locked the doors with trembling hands. His breathing became shallow. The footsteps stopped. For one long, unbearable moment, there was nothing. Then came a slow knock against the driver's window. 1, 2, 3. Daniel forced himself to look. The ghostly trucker was standing inches from the glass. His face was still hidden, but beneath the torn cap, Daniel could see a faint, impossible smile, as if the stranger already knew the road had chosen him. Daniel stared at the ruined face. The skin was torn. One side of the skull had collapsed inward. For a terrible moment, he saw only a corpse. Then one eye opened, clear, human, familiar. His heart sank. Michael! The ghost froze. For the first time, terror appeared on the spirit's face. Not terror of Daniel. Terror of something standing somewhere behind him. Michael tried to speak. His body jerked violently, as if unseen hands were dragging him backward into the darkness. When he finally spoke, several voices came out together. One belonged to Michael. The others did not. Michael Hayes. Years ago, they had driven for the same trucking company. Michael was the first to volunteer for difficult routes, always laughing, always helping younger drivers. Then one rainy night, he vanished during a delivery through Highway 17. The company assumed he had abandoned his truck. Others believed he had run away. Daniel never believed either story. Now he knew the truth. Michael's truck had crashed through a weak section of the guardrail and plunged into a deep ditch hidden beneath years of overgrown brush. No one ever found it. No one ever searched far enough. His broken body had remained beside that lonely road, day after day, year after year, forgotten by everyone, never buried, never mourned, never allowed to rest. The thing standing before Daniel was no longer entirely Michael. It was a soul trapped in the place where it had been abandoned. Its loneliness had become something monstrous, something that could not bear the silence anymore. So every time another truck stopped, Michael made sure its driver would never leave him behind again. Daniel stepped closer. "I'll bring you home." For a brief moment, Michael looked like the man Daniel remembered. Then he grabbed Daniel's jacket with impossible strength. His single clear eye filled with panic. "It wasn't me," he whispered. "I only wanted someone to find me." His voice suddenly changed, becoming deep, ancient, inhuman. Michael fought to speak again. With his final breath, he forced out one last warning. "Don't let it know your name." His hand released Daniel. The fog swallowed him whole. The fog surrounding Highway 17 began to thin. The freezing air grew warm. The endless stretch of asphalt trembled before Daniel's eyes, and for the first time that night, he could see the end of the road. Michael slowly lowered his head. When Daniel looked up again, the ghost was gone. His truck roared back to life. The dashboard clock began moving. The GPS reconnected. As dawn broke over the mountains, Daniel drove off Highway 17 and completed his delivery. His daughter received the surgery she desperately needed. Weeks later, Daniel returned with state investigators and search crews. Guided by the memories of that impossible night, they searched beyond the broken guardrail, hidden beneath decades of overgrown brush. Deep inside a forgotten ravine, they found the rusted remains of an old freight truck. Inside were human bones. Dental records confirmed what Daniel already knew. Michael Hayes had finally been found. After years of being left alone beside the road, he was laid to rest with the dignity he had been denied. From that day forward, no drivers vanished on Highway 17. The road reopened. Traffic returned. People said the curse was finally over. They were wrong. Months passed. Highway 17 became just another road again. Freight companies resumed their old routes. Police closed the missing persons investigations. The newspapers called it the end of a decades-old mystery. Daniel never spoke publicly about what happened. He only kept one promise. He made sure Michael Hayes was finally laid to rest. For the first time in decades, no one disappeared. People said the curse had finally been broken. Then, late one autumn night, a rookie truck driver crossed Highway 17 for the very first time. The road was empty. The forest was silent. He reached the other side in a few minutes. He laughed. I guess the old stories weren't true after all. His CB radio crackled. A gentle voice whispered through the static. Thank you. The rookie smiled. Whoever it was, they sounded at peace. Then every light inside the cab died. The headlights, the dashboard, the radio, everything. For 3 long seconds, there was only darkness. When the headlights flickered back on, a truck was parked sideways across the highway. It hadn't driven there. It was simply there. Its engine wasn't running. Its lights were off. Its driver's door hung open. The rookie reached for the radio. Only static answered. Then, a voice spoke from somewhere outside the truck. Not from the CB. Not from the forest. Not from any direction he could understand. It sounded ancient, patient, as though it had been waiting beneath that road for centuries. You buried the lonely one. A long silence followed. Then the voice whispered again. But you never found me. The asphalt beneath the truck shuddered. A deep crack split across the center of the highway. From the darkness below, something impossibly large began to rise. The rookie never had the chance to see all of it. His headlights exploded. The screen went black. The only sound that remained was the slow, heavy echo of boots walking toward the truck.